If you've ever wondered, do I really need a financial planner, or thought, why should I hire somebody to help me manage my money when I can do it myself? You're not alone. With so many online tools and investing platforms available today, it's never been easier to manage your finances. But just because you can do this yourself doesn't mean you should do this yourself. In this video, we're going to break down when it makes sense to hire a financial planner and when you could probably forgo hiring a financial planner. Now, with that said, my name's Ryan Knoll, and I am a financial planner, and I founded Nav Wealth Partners, a financial planning firm that helps clients nationwide make smart money decisions. Now, let's talk about what real financial planning looks like in 2025, how a certified financial planner can actually save you money and stress, and how to know if it's time to start working with one. The truth is, if you enjoy research, feel confident about tax strategy, portfolio construction, retirement planning, estate considerations, and financial psychology, you probably don't need a financial planner. But for most people, personal finance is overwhelming, intimidating, inconsistent, and emotionally loaded. That's where a good planner comes in. Think of a CFP not as someone who just picks your investments, but as a long-term strategy partner who helps you make the most out of every dollar that you have. In fact, Vanguard releases its Dalbar study annually. That study goes over the impact a financial advisor has on individuals who utilize a planner and those who are doing it themselves or doing a DIY approach to their investing. What is found consistently year after year over the past 2 decades is that those people who have financial planners are better off by 2 to 4% annually versus those who are doing a DIY approach to their own financial planning. People often focus on the cost of hiring a planner, but they rarely think about the cost of not hiring one. What's the cost of having the wrong asset allocation? Or missing critical tax strategies, taking too little or too much income from your portfolio, living with constant financial stress, decision fatigue, or anxiety about money. These are all real risks that come with trying to manage your own portfolio. A good advisor doesn't just save time, they can help prevent 6 or 7-figure mistakes over the course of your retirement by being your sounding board for all of those concerns. Financial planning is so much more than just picking mutual funds. A great financial planner will help you to design the right asset allocation based on your goals, risk tolerance, and time frame, not just on what the hot investment is right now. Builds a tax strategy that integrates Social Security, retirement accounts, brokerage assets, and charitable giving, optimizes your retirement withdrawals so you don't leave money on the table, creates income strategies beyond the 4% rule that takes into account your actual situation when taking distributions, and serves as an emotional buffer, your personal financial guardrail, so you don't make impulsive decisions that derail your plan. And perhaps most importantly, a good planner brings clarity and confidence so you can focus on your life, not spreadsheets. So when might it make sense to actually go out and hire yourself a financial planner? Here's a few key signs. You're nearing retirement and you have no idea whether you're truly on track. You're investing everything in the S&P 500 and you're just hoping for the best. You got multiple accounts, funds, advisors, but no cohesive strategies spread across all of those accounts. You're making 6 or 7 figures and you still feel financially uncertain or disorganized. You lose sleep thinking about money or feel guilty about spending money. Your net worth has crossed the 7 or 8-figure threshold and you're realizing the stakes are too high to guess anymore. In short, complexity and uncertainty are both signs it's time to bring in an expert. One of the most frequent questions I get as a financial planner is how I'm paid. Clients want to know not only what they're paying me, but also how those payments are taken from them. And this is where many people have concerns when it comes to working with an advisor. They want to know that they're being charged an amount that is fair and transparent. And I get it. Clients should never have to question this. When you get work done on your car, the parts are listed along with the labor prices so you know exactly what you're getting and how much it's going to cost. It should be that way with financial planners as well. However, it's not always the case. So I want to break down the 3 main ways planners and advisors receive compensation. And the first of these 3 ways is a commission-based advisor. And a commission-based advisor earns money by selling certain products, things like mutual funds, life insurance, annuities, or stocks and bonds through a brokerage service. Whenever you buy one of these products through them, they get a cut. That's their commission. Here are the main ways that commissions are charged for commission-based advisors. There's front-end loads, which is an upfront sales charge when you invest. There's back-end loads, which are fees when you sell. It's also known as a contingent deferred sales charge. There's ongoing fees from certain annuities or mutual funds that they sell. There's also something called trails, which is a small ongoing commission from the product provider. It's typically like 1/4% annually. And this is important because these fees are built into the product. So you might not even realize that you're the one paying them, even if it's indirectly. So an example of this is if you invest $10,000 in a mutual fund with a 5% front-end sales load, your advisor is going to get $500 up front, and you're actually only investing $9,500. That's an example of how fees can cut into your overall investment returns. So what are the pros of a commission-based advisors? One is you don't typically pay out of pocket initially. There's usually no upfront invoice or hourly rate. It can feel free, especially if the advisor's only paid when you buy something. They make sense if you just have basic needs. If you just need a term life policy, a 529 plan, or a mutual fund you plan to hold forever, a commission-based advisor might help you set it up without ongoing costs. It works out well for one-time transactions. If you're not looking for ongoing planning, this model can be more affordable up front. Now, the cons of a commission-based advisor is that it, by its very nature, is an inherent conflict of interest. Advisors under this model has a financial incentive to recommend products that pay the highest commissions or to get you to buy more things more frequently, even if those aren't the best fit for you. There's a lesser focus on ongoing planning. Since they're paid by the product, not by the plan, you might get more product pitching and less ideas that'll help you save on taxes and crafting the optimal asset allocation for you. It's hard to know what you're paying. Many commissions are baked into financial products, so unless you read the fine print, you may have no idea how much it's costing you. And fourth, and most importantly, they're not always fiduciaries. Commission-based advisors often operate under a suitability standard, not the fiduciary standard. That means that they only have to recommend something that makes sense, not necessarily what's best for you. A good example of this is it might make sense for you to just throw money in the S&P 500, but what they're failing to account for is the fact that you're 5 years away from retirement, you can't afford to take that much risk. There should be some bonds in your portfolio, but the bonds don't pay as much as that shiny S&P 500 fund they're recommending, so they forego the bonds in order to capture that higher commission. That's somebody who's not working in your best interest. That's somebody who's only making a suitable investment for you. So the idea here is fiduciary is legally required to act in your best interest, whereas suitability is good enough but not necessarily optimal in any situation. By contrast, the fee-only planner is exactly what it sounds like. They're compensated only by the client and never by commissions, kickbacks, or product sales. That means no insurance commissions, no mutual fund loads, no annuity bonuses. They get paid directly by you, the consumer, for their time and expertise. Fee-only planners can charge in a few different ways depending on their service model. The first is AUM, or assets under management, typically around 1% per year of the money they manage for you. So if you have $500,000 invested with them, you're typically paying them around $5,000 annually. The second way they charge is by flat fee, a set amount for financial planning or investment advice. This could be something like $2,000 a quarter or $6,000 a year, and that's normally billed on a monthly or quarterly basis. There's also hourly rates similar to how you would pay an accountant or a lawyer, and that could range anywhere from $150 to thousands of dollars an hour depending on the expertise and how advanced this person is as a planner. The fourth is project-based planning, which is a one-time flat fee for a specific plan, like a retirement plan, tax strategy, or student loan guidance. The key point here with fee-only planners is they don't earn a commission or a referral fee. They're paid directly by you, the consumer. So you know exactly how much they cost and you know exactly who's paying them. Pros of fee-only planners is that they have a fiduciary duty. Fee-only advisors are almost always fiduciaries. That means they're legally and ethically bounded to act in your best interest. Think of a doctor recommending what's best for your health, not what earns them the biggest bonuses. There's typically no or fewer conflicts of interest versus the commission-based model. Since they're not selling products, they have no incentive to push one solution over the other, and advice is based off of what is best for you, not just what's suitable for you. There's more transparent pricing, so you know exactly what you're paying for and why, and there's no hidden fees buried in investment products or insurance policies. There's more of a focus on planning and not on products. Fee-only planners often provide comprehensive financial planning, not just investment advice. That includes retirement, taxes, budgeting, education, insurance reviews, estate planning, and more. Now, there are some cons when you work with fee-only financial planners. First is you're writing the check. You're paying directly out of pocket, which can feel more expensive even if it's cheaper than the commission-based advisor because you're writing that check directly. It's especially noticeable for flat fee or hourly services. Oftentimes when you're delivering a financial plan, or when I'm delivering a financial plan, I'm spending 20 or 30 hours on it per client. If I'm billing them $300 an hour, those can get really expensive really quickly. So you might want to opt for a flat fee planning advisor because you're going to be able to lock in a lower cost for that project that you're having them work on. The second con is the AUM model can still get really pricey. So the average financial advisor charges about 1%. So if you have $1 million invested with a financial advisor, you might be paying them somewhere around $10,000 a year. It's a pretty good chunk of change. And it's not necessarily tied to the amount of service you get or the amount of meetings you have. It's strictly based off of the dollars that are invested with this type of advisor. The third con is they might not have the products you sell. If you need to buy life insurance or annuities, they may refer you out to a third party. You might also need to work with another professional separately to have all of your needs met. Now, oftentimes these advisors have referral partners, so it's not that big of a deal. But if you're working with somebody who's relatively new in the industry, this could become a big sticking point for you. Fourth, there's also varied quality. Just because someone is fee only doesn't make them better or worse than a commission-based advisor. You still need to vet their experience, their credentials, and their approach to make sure it's what you're looking for and make sure that the costs align with what you're willing to pay. This leads us to the last type of financial planners, and this is a fee-based planner. And fee-based planners are a combination of both commission planners and fee-only planners. Typically, what you see with a fee-based planner is they get 80 to 90% of their revenue through the fee-only side of their business, but they also have the ability to sell you commissionable products. So things like life insurance, commissionable annuities, and 529 plans for your kids' education. And the reason they do this is because they want to make it convenient for you as the client to have all of these different solutions for you in one space. But it's really important to know the fees that you're paying them across the board. You may be paying them a couple $1,000s in a planning fee to actually do your financial plan. You might be paying them an AUM fee for the investments that they do manage for you, and you could be indirectly paying them through commissions for things like life insurance and 529 plans for your kids' education. The main takeaway, regardless of how an advisor operates, is that they will get paid by you in some way, shape, or form. It is important to know what those costs are and how you pay them. But what's even more important is to work with a fiduciary advisor. This means that regardless of how they choose to run their business, their decisions are based on what is best for you, their client. If they do not follow that standard, then you are the one who's at risk, regardless of how they're making you pay them. Now, with all of that said, here's something that people don't talk about. Financial planning can actually make you happier. Studies show that people with more complex financial lives, those with significant retirement assets, report higher happiness levels when they do work with an advisor. Not because they're wealthier, but because they're more confident in the decisions they're making behind their money. Real wealth isn't about just how much money you have. It's about peace of mind, freedom, and the ability to focus on what matters most. A great financial planner doesn't just help you manage your money. They help you design the life that you want with the money you have to support it. So, do you really need a financial planner? Now, not everyone does. But if your financial life is growing more complex, if you're tired of carrying this burden alone, or if you simply want to make sure you're getting the most out of the money you've got, a certified financial planner might be the best investment you'll ever make. If you're ready to explore what financial planning could look like for you, visit the link in the description to learn more about how we help clients make the most of their money. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.